What's going on, guys? You are listening to Beyond the Fantasy Football Podcast. Make sure you wait till the end of the show to catch our Twitter handle and our YouTube channel. Hop on Twitter, give us a follow, hop on YouTube, hit that subscribe button for all of your weekly fantasy football updates. Thanks, guys. We'll catch you on the other side. All right, we are back to the Beyond the Fantasy Football Podcast, taking you beyond all your regular fantasy football needs and wants to help you win your fantasy football league for the year. I am one of your hosts, Will Essick. I'm joined by my co-host, Michael Gibson.
Yep, how's it going?
What's up, Dylan Gibson?
I'm right here, ready to go, bro.
And we have a special treat for everybody listening today, joined by Jared Hall. So there's going to be 4 of us today getting after and answering
I thought we were getting Andrew Luck on the pod today.
No, he's a little busy right now. He's living life.
He's not busy. I mean, he's got nothing to do.
Are you sure? But we are going to give you guys a little special today. We've got we're going to start with a little mailbag segment for you guys. We got a couple questions to answer. Seen a couple things on Twitter. If you aren't yet, I'm going to quickly plug our Twitter. Follow us at Beyond FFP on Twitter. Hit us with some questions. We're going to try to do this as much as we can. We'll answer your questions as we go throughout the fantasy football season.
And actually, if I can say something real quick, save the postage. We don't need them mailed in physically. Just tweet at us directly. Will's been getting covered up in mail. Mailbox is full. Just tweet them at us.
Yeah. The mailman is tired of it. So we're here. We're going to hit you guys first with
Stamps.com.
with a little mailbox special here. We're going to start. I got the first question for you guys, and I'm going to start with Michael. Michael, how does Andrew Luck's retirement affect Paris Campbell's dynasty value?
It's awful, bro. He's probably not in my top 150 of redraft players, and so for dynasty, knowing I can't really utilize him this year, probably can't really utilize him next year with a rookie quarterback because it's not going to be Brissett long term. You're looking at a year 3 window, which I'd rather take. There's a lot of rookies I'd rather take over him.
So to frame it, where are you taking him in rookie drafts? Because
he's a late first rounder, but I'm taking somebody like Darrell Henderson ahead of him. I'm going Kyler Murray.
I agree with Michael. I think this automatically this all of a sudden throws Paris Campbell into that similar range with Marquise Brown. They're great prospects. They're good athletes, but you're all of a sudden kind of their quarterback situation is really shady. You got to wait and see if that quarterback situation works out for him.
Do you take Paris Campbell or A.J. Brown?
A.J. Brown, a million times.
Yeah.
Why? What's your difference
Talent.
there? Okay. So talent's the only thing that you're taking there. So where are they if you're drafting in a 12-team dynasty league? So for those that listen, all 4 of us sitting here at the table are in a dynasty league, the GFFL, proudly ran by Michael and Dylan over here. These guys do a great job. But so if you're in a redraft league, if you're in a dynasty league, you're drafting, you're in a rookie draft, where do those guys fall in a rookie draft for you in a 12-man?
1.10 is where I
right around the end.
That's where you're taking Paris Campbell?
Yeah, I'd be tempted by the tight ends above him. Hawkinson.
Do you take both tight ends above him?
I'd be tempted.
That's also easy to say now that you've seen Hawk play a little bit. I don't know how many people are rookie drafting with 8 days left to go in the off season. I guess. Well,
we don't write the questions, Will. We just answer.
True. So to answer the question, so Dylan, you feel?
I'm still confident in Paris Campbell's ability. I think he's kind of a gadget plus player. I mean, I think it was awesome with Andrew Luck. I thought like the opportunities were endless, but I'm still hopeful for the future. But it's gonna be kind of tougher.
So it's gonna be a depreciating asset because people are gonna be.
Yeah, it's not somebody you have to take in your rookie draft now. It's somebody you can say like, oh wow, his value is gonna continue to drop. Let me try to snag him before trade deadline, or let me snag him next offseason.
Yeah, he's got Jacoby Brissett throwing it to him this year. Brissett's going to look to go to T.Y. Hilton. He's going to look to go to Eric Ebron. They might get Campbell involved in some trick plays, but as far as, redraft value, he's just I wouldn't take him.
Well, let's say
he's going to be on your waiver wire.
Let's say they suck and they're in line to take a great quarterback next year. T.Y. Hilton's a year older. Devin Funchess is out of town.
they're not going to suck
No.
that bad.
You
They're
don't
going to
think
be
so?
just bad enough to be in kind of that purgatory stage. It's not going to be like
Yeah.
last time where he went
I think
Manning
they're-
to Luck. It's not going to be Luck to Tua or whatever. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Well,
they're over-
I'm
man's
gonna
land.
I'm gonna go out on a limb here. I think that they're good enough to compete for a playoff spot. I think Brissett's gonna be better. The offense is better. As far as T.Y. Hilton and what he's gonna provide, he's gonna attempt to take the top off of defenses. I think defensively they're gonna be okay. I don't think that they're gonna beat the Texans. I think that the AFC is generally pretty weak. That's my opinion. I think outside of the Patriots, obviously, the Patriots are going to win that division. I don't care what you say about the Jets. I don't care how much better
So
they are. I think the Colts are better than the Jets.
If I share that opinion, I would kind of have Campbell as
Head
one of
to
my
Vegas.
sleepers in redraft because I mean I don't think how long is Funchess going to like produce in there.
and that was going to be my next question. What is that offensive line or what does that wide receiver depth chart look like there? It's T.Y. Hilton and then
Brissett's been targeting Funchess quite a bit in the preseason.
Yeah,
Take that for
Funchess,
whatever it's
Campbell.
worth.
yeah, just because he's targeting it doesn't mean he's actually catching the ball, though.
That's true. That's true.
he's throwing it in his direction. Not going to catch it. Okay, so I think the offensive line, I will say this, I think the offensive line is a lot better than they have been 2 years ago when Brissett played for them.
It's so good that Andrew Luck decided he had to get the heck out of there.
Listen, I think Andrew Luck is just tired of hurting all the time. He was just like, you know what? Like, I'm out. I don't care. I don't care how much better the ownership, the GMs have done too little, too late. I think that the offensive line is a lot better. I think Brissett's going to look the part this year. He's going to make mistakes, but I think the Colts are going to be better than.
Belichick got a lot of them.
Oh.
He did them for Philip Dorsett. He said, I'm not giving them to you till you give me Philip Dorsett. That's how much Belichick thought about him.
I'll go a different way with Paris Campbell. I think he drops. I
with
wouldn't
that.
take him until late second round. And that's simply because he's not going to have any. I don't think he'll have much value this year. And then your league mates are going to kind of forget about him. You're not going to be able to trade him for really anything.
That's true.
I think you're better off taking a chance on one of these other guys who might have a good season this year. Their value goes up, then you can possibly move one of those guys for somebody
flip 'em
else.
for Campbell
Yeah,
plus if you like.
it's
Yep,
not
exactly.
impossible to hit on a second rounder, and it's just you're not going to feel like you won your pick with Paris Campbell this year anywhere you take him.
That's fair. All right, so we're going to move on. Had a question by Johnny Phillips on Twitter. Tweeted us and
Friend
said,
of the podcast.
said, what's the best tight end strat to use in Dynasty? Early tight end worth it? Mid-tier tight end? We're thinking Ingram and Howard in that mid-tier, or just go late, stream tight ends week to week. What do you got?
I'm assuming he's talking about a startup here because once you get going in a dynasty league, I mean, it's just all based on roster construction. I can't tell you in a vacuum, hey, you've got to go out and get Kelsey. You need him. You got to get him.
Yeah.
Nah.
I'm going to say this, and we had a new guy, a new addition to our Dynasty league, 12-man, and one of his first things was that he wanted to upgrade at tight end. So where do you, in, I guess, the hierarchy of positions that you're targeting, how important is tight end? Do you prioritize quarterback over tight end? Does it depend? Does it go year to year? I mean, it looks like right now you've got, God, I don't know, 20 quarterbacks that you could play and feel okay with. I mean, there's a bottom tier of quarterback for sure.
Here's the thing about Dynasty is once you get a couple years in, things start to get a little top heavy. Typically because guys are like, okay, I'm not going to win this year. I'm going to tank. I'm going to get draft picks. And there's a few teams in there, probably 6 teams right now in our Dynasty League that think that they have a good chance to win. And I think that's when you have to go out and target a top tight end personally because those teams are so top heavy. You have to have someone solid at every single position. Yeah. And I think that if you don't have a solid tight end, if you're rolling out somebody like, I don't know, even Evan Ingram right now, you don't know what he's going to do. Yeah. I don't think you can win a championship unless you're just absolutely stacked at every other position. But yeah, I think if you, I think it's important to have one of the top guys.
So to jump on Johnny's question directly, I'm going to let you do this. If you are in a startup for a dynasty draft, at what point are you taking a guy like Kittle Kelsey is what it is, and you're probably not going to take him that early. He's probably going to fall to the third round. I would assume something like that, third or fourth round, just because of his age, where he's at. You're not going to jump on him in the second round. But a guy like Kittle that has Gronk upside, just set the record for tight ends for yardage in the season last year. At what point do you prioritize that over young talent? Where does he fall? And I know you didn't come loaded with ammo for that question, I'm sure, but at what point, how much priority are you putting on tight end when you're drafting?
If it's Kittle, maybe third round because of his age, and there's just not a whole lot of top people around him, so he's the focal point of that offense.
It also seems like the tight end is getting that position in Dynasty is getting old.
Yeah.
Outside of like Kittle, now you have Hawk in the league. Who are your top tight? Ertz, and then you have Kelsey.
If you're not getting Kittle or Kelsey, I would almost nosedive down in that Chris Herndon, Darren Waller, whoever. I'm going to stream it, play the matchups.
Yeah,
I'm going to find a guy.
There's a lot of good young tight ends that have potential, and they're not too expensive because young tight ends don't produce early.
That mid-tier tight end is not too exciting to me.
Okay.
It's easy to grab a McDonald or a Jared Cook or somebody to play the waiver wire to survive while you have your Waller or Mark Andrews or your rookie tight end sitting on the bench, kind of crossing your fingers on him.
So
the way I saw it when I was looking at the ADPs, though, I think if you, let's say you went Kittle, you instead of going like a Ingram or a Howard, so they would be going in the 5th, 6th. So you'd be rolling out Kittle and Boyd would be like your combo that you would take in like the late or the early third in your 5th or 6th, versus not going tight end. You would end up with like a Keenan Allen or a Diggs, and then roll OJ Howard and Ingram.
Yeah.
Let me stop you right there, though. If you're talking about Kittle, you're talking about a guy that had like 1,300 plus yards last year, compared to like an Evan Ingram or an OJ Howard that's right around that 600 yard, and you can start the guy at tight end, so you're getting almost a wide receiver one at tight end. He'll put up similar numbers to Keenan Allen. Two, hopefully not Stephon Diggs, but probably.
It is a huge drop off. So those your Kelsey and your Kittle, they averaged like around 17 points a game last year, and then you get down to like your guys that finished 4 or 5, your Jared Cook, your OJ Howard, and they were averaging like around 10. So it's a huge drop off, really.
Yeah. So it looks like there's like two schools of thought here. You either go a top guy, and Michael's giving you the numbers. So you either go a top guy in the 3rd round, or it's just
crash and burn.
I'm away from it. I'm not touching Ingram in the 5th or 6th round. There's just too much. And you can always sit there with your draft board, and when you go into a dynasty draft, the best thing you can do is have some knowledge and have names of guys that you like and guys that you think have good upside. So anything can change. Obviously, if you get there and you think Evan Ingram has a chance to be the next stud, whatever, then I guess you could see it. But it looks like you're either going, I'm either taking Kittle in the 3rd, or I'm not touching anybody. I consider Kelsey to be untouchable in a dynasty redraft just because of his ADP is not going to match up with what he's going to give me.
Absolutely.
In 3 years. Okay, Jared, you got anything? Good? Okay, so I've got another question. This is just a general fantasy football question, so this will be good for some people that are new to fantasy football in general. So PPR league, 0.5, could be 1 point. Either way, running back, wide receiver, tight end, flex spot. Is it team dependent, or do you shade one position or another at your flex spot? Do you prefer putting a wide receiver in at that flex spot if it's PPR? Do you like your running back? Is it totally team dependent? Is it running back all the time? If you have 3 running back ones, what do you like to do, Michael?
I would say it's 100% team dependent.
So
if you've got 3 studs at wide receiver, you're going to roll them out there, obviously. It's wherever the opportunity's at. If I've got, say, a Latavius Murray, I might be getting goal line carries, and then I've got like a Curtis Samuel, like I do in some leagues, in one league. You got Curtis Samuel hoping to catch a bomb. Targets are kind of up and down. Who knows kind of thing how they utilize them this year. Latavius Murray's getting that goal line work. So if I was playing against you guys who have a top-heavy team, I would roll out Curtis Samuel hoping for that bomb play and just a monster day. If I'm playing against one of these slower teams or whatever, I'm plugging in Latavius, just getting that goal line touch.
You're playing the floor.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Is this redraft?
Yeah, just assuming
I will
redraft,
add
and you're just
one thing. I'm not picking. I mean, it is based on roster construction, based off a running back or wide receiver. But I'll never feel good about having 2 tight ends in there. I just don't think the upside. It's just terrible when you got a tight end in your flex.
It never works.
Unless you went second round, third round tight end,
Yeah, but
which
then
would
what's
be
the rest of your team look
absolutely
like?
absurd.
Yeah.
Then no, you're not doing it. But what I like to do when I know that there's 2 running backs in a flex spot that I can also put that running back. I like to fill in my 2 running backs and then my 2 receivers. I like to fill that flex spot with a running back simply because running backs are fewer and far between than wide receivers. You can pick up a wide receiver late that you can put in there, slide in there. Maybe he gets, quite a few catches, 80 yards, something like that. Harder to find running backs. They get injured more often. I like to always get more running backs than wide receivers personally.
Yeah. Opportunity is king. A running back, if you got a feature back, 15, 20 touches. Receiver, he may get out of there with 3 targets. Even the best of them could have a 3-target kind of day.
Good points. Good points. Okay, moving on. I think this is going to be our last question of our mailbag segment. Can Duke Johnson be the running back in Texas, in Houston, for the entirety of the season? Are they going to bring somebody in, or can he be the guy?
Yeah, I mean, he can. Just to put it simple, he got kind of viewed as that a pass catching kind of scat running back because kind of that's how he was being used in Cleveland when they had like Crowell there and stuff. He could be an every down back. He's big enough. He's got all the intangibles.
See, I saw something, and I don't know how accurate this is, so you're gonna have to fact check me on this if you're listening to this. But it was a BMI index, in that Duke Johnson has a greater BMI index. He's just literally bigger than Zeke, Gurley, Carry-On, Kareem Hunt. Literally a bigger body.
You just made that up.
I didn't make it up.
I'll
look it up.
I'm going to fact check you with my eyes, and I'm going to say I do not think so. But
You read an Onion article, bro.
it could be. Now, so I'll let you guys keep going, and then I'll wrap it up. What do you think? Do they bring a plotter, thumper, goal line,
they're going to
dumper?
bring somebody in because a lot of good backs are going to get cut, like a Kenneth Dixon, something like that would be fine to plug in.
Carlos Hyde.
Yeah,
Carlos Hyde, whatever.
Someone's going to come split carries. I don't think anybody
I don't know
needs
if
to
it'll
be
be split carries.
not splitting, but I don't think anybody needs to be picking up like Demarie Crockett or whoever
What about all of them? You can pick up the whole depth chart.
whoever the backup is right now. Come on, you don't got to do that.
Crockett's got good measurables. Plug them in your machine.
What about his BMI? Is it greater than Zeke? No.
Yeah, I believe in Duke Johnson. I think he got kind of a bad rap being in Cleveland when they had a bad offense.
Yeah,
They had a bad
Yeah,
team.
he was in Cleveland before the fun times.
And then last year, obviously they draft Nick Chubb, and the guy's a beast. I mean, he's going to get on the
Yeah.
field. He is better than Duke Johnson. Duke Johnson's not Nick Chubb. I mean, but Houston has a really good offense. They like to throw the ball. He's going to get opportunity. I see no reason why he couldn't be a feature back, be a high RB2, low RB1.
I have a couple thoughts. I think that his ceiling is James White of last year. I think that's as good as he can be. Like RB11, RB12, touchdowns.
That'd be
like
awesome.
I think that's his ceiling. I mean, that is as good as he's going to be. He's not going to get,
he won't crack the top 7 or
no, of course not. I think that it's going to be touchdown dependent, and then on the other hand, I read an argument that said, Watson doesn't throw the ball to running backs. It's like, well, neither did Cam Newton until he got a guy that could catch the ball, and then he throws him the ball a whole lot.
I'm not throwing it to Alfred Blue or
Yeah,
Lamar
like
Miller.
you know what I mean? It's just like so now it's going to be in a situation where I legitimately think Watson is an elite quarterback. I think that coach staff realizes that he's not going to be able to use his legs as much. They don't want him turning into Cam Newton beat and banged up. I think they're going to try and jump ahead of everything and say, you need to make these dump down throws. And I think Duke Johnson's going to be the beneficiary.
Houston went out and gave up a 3rd-round pick for him, right?
Yeah.
And this was before Lamar Miller's injury, so they already had plans to use him in the passing game.
Right.
Yeah.
And on 3rd downs and things. He's going to get that work. He's a great pass-catching running back. I think he's got a high floor. I mean, and that's great. You want that.
Yeah, he's going to have high usage. PPR, if you haven't drafted in your league yet, I think everybody at this table is big on Duke Johnson, at least for now, especially
Alvin
in a PPR.
Kamara light.
Really?
Take it for what it's worth.
If he could be,
He's not that light, bro. His body, his
Oh,
BMI is bigger than Zeke.
Alvin Kamara heavy.
he's a,
The one issue, the offensive line is terrible there. But
True.
who cares? We don't worry about offensive lines. We're playing fantasy.
exactly. Their offensive line's not going to score me any point. All right, so we're going to move on. We're going to do a little special. So there's some quote unquote experts for DFS here at the table. These guys, Michael, if you hung with us at the end of our last podcast, Michael explained a little bit some of the things that he's done and they've done in DFS before. So I'm going to let him go ahead and recap that really quick, and then we're going to jump right in. I've got a couple questions for him in DFS. So go ahead and tell the guys what you're working with.
For week one or just in general, what have I done?
No, let's go. I want to hear what you've done and some of your credentials in the DFS world.
I've been playing DFS since a little thing called Draft Street. Doesn't exist anymore. If you name a site, I've probably played on it. I'm not the best in the world. I've won my share of money. I've lost some money. I'm a positive player. I'm plus some money, plus a decent amount of money, I would say, but nothing crazy. I'm not out here selling the content, but I might give you an idea or two you can use.
Okay, so we're gonna jump in. If you don't know what DFS is, some say it's the best way to play fantasy football. You don't have to do all the.
I would say yes.
So Michael's a huge DFS guy, so you don't have to do all the grit and the grind of the mock drafts and stuff, and you can just week by week, if you like a lineup, you like a guy, you can roll him out there, and see what you get and have a chance to win some money. So I am very much a novice when it comes to this stuff. So we're gonna have Michael walk me through some of his stuff that if he were trying to explain some of his logic, are you starting at quarterback and working your way down? Are you starting at running back, working your way down? What are you working with? What is your to explain to those that may not be familiar with it? We are looking at DraftKings right now. That's what we are looking at DraftKings. We're sitting here looking at DraftKings. And we're looking at their prices for players. Our salary that we are allotted is $50,000, quote unquote, dollars, and then each player that we have to fill out a lineup has an allotted amount. So I'm looking here. We're allotted $50,000. Top of the list right here is for wide receivers, Odell Beckham at $8,100. Okay, so do you start with quarterback, work your way down? Are you big on, do you have to take a stud running back? Where do you like to find your value? So let's go ahead and walk through this. I'm going to have Michael start with me and tell me where to start, how to do it, and I'm going to try and talk through it while he does it.
Well, what you're going to want to do, you're going to want to invest in a notebook. They've got, I think, 8 for $1 at Walmart. You can afford it. You need it. You got to have it.
Got to have a notebook.
There's no other way to put your thoughts down
without a notebook.
Okay.
Maybe a computer notebook, whatever you want to do. Digital, paper, doesn't matter. I do paper. The first thing I will do, it doesn't matter what position you start with, don't care. You're going to go through and you're just going to write down the names of people you like. That's pure and simple. You're getting a player pool together.
Andrew Luck.
You don't want to sit here. I've seen people try to do this. Oh, I'm going to have a little bit of Jared Goff. I'm going to have a little bit of Phillip Rivers. And before you know it, you've got a little bit of everybody. And guess what you're not going to do? Win a little bit of money.
Yeah.
You're not going to win a little bit of nothing.
So then I'm going to say this. So is it, what am I liking? Do I have to like the way the guy looks? Do I have to like his fantasy floor? Like is there anything? And is this position based? Like where? I mean, I'm talking about bare bones. Where am I starting here? So I'm getting a pool of guys together. Am I only looking at matchups for that week? So am I sitting down looking at week one and saying I like these guys for week one because of matchups, because of...
I'm looking at a combo of talent and matchups, and I'm looking at that upside, dude. I'm trying to win a tournament. I'm not trying to just min cash or whatever. I want to take it down, and if I don't take it down, I'll try to take it down next week.
Gotcha.
So I'm going here, like if I was looking at these quarterbacks right here, I'm looking at Patrick Mahomes. He's going to be on my sheet. Jameis Winston's going to be on there. I probably won't have Baker Mayfield. I just start kind of cutting the fat kind of thing.
Okay.
You don't want to have a little bit of everybody.
Yeah.
Dak Prescott in a matchup against the Giants, probably not going to make my list.
Okay. So we're going to start here. This hasn't been updated since Andrew Luck's retirement. Any quick thoughts on Andrew Luck's retirement? RIP, the Colts season?
No. I've heard enough.
We've heard enough. That horse is dead. So we're going to look at, I'm going to say this. I like Jameis Winston this year. I think he's going to be a good buy. We jokingly said before the podcast that maybe Tampa Bay is going to throw for 7,000 yards. It was clearly a joke because of how high everybody's valued. Evans low, wide receiver 1. Now it looks like Chris Godwin's got wide receiver 1 upside, and then now somebody's telling me that OJ Howard has tight end 1 upside, and it's just crazy. But
At least they don't have a running back.
that's true. They're going to have to throw the damn ball because nobody in that offense can run with it. So I'm going to take Jameis. I like Jameis. So I've taken Jameis for $6,600. I've got $43,400 left.
So here's another thing I'm going to do, and this is just everybody knows how to do this, but most of the time, probably 99% of the time, if I'm starting Jameis, or say even if I'm starting at receivers, I'm going to stack my quarterback with the receiver.
Okay.
It just gives you way more upside than if you don't. Like, I don't want to play naked Jameis.
So
I'm just not going to do it.
All right. So you're looking at quarterback, wide receiver. So you're going to pick a duo that you like. So let's say I like Jared Goff for that week. Do you avoid Jared Goff because he spreads it too much? Would you prefer to go with something like Phillip Rivers and Keenan Allen because he's it's
Most of the
a
time,
little more.
I very rarely played Goff at all last year. It might change a little bit if they dial it back on the run with Gurley's injury, possibly.
Yeah, and he's
but like you said, he doesn't really have a featured guy.
Yeah.
But if I'm running one of them out, there's probably Brandon Cooks,
Yeah.
just 'cause I'm looking for that big play.
Okay, so you're looking for a big play. So let's just for the sake of argument, so let's go ahead and we're going to jump to wide receiver. You cool with that? And
Absolutely.
let's throw in. You like Mike Evans here, or do you like the value of the wide receiver 2 in the offense?
I'm going to take the discount and get Godwin on this one.
You're going to take.
I'm excited to play him week 1. I'm hoping Sherman will be on Evans a little bit. I think Godwin's getting that slot role.
So
That's a lot of opportunity there.
Mike Evans is up there with the top 3 wide receivers.
Yes.
So he's 7,900, and you can go all the way down to 6,200 and get Chris Godwin. If you think Jameis Winston's really going to ball out against San Francisco, I don't see why Godwin's not a good pick going down to
versus
that price.
the other. So you're looking at matchups. You're looking at definitely pairing quarterbacks and wide receivers.
Just to give you a quick idea, Will, there's probably, I don't know, over 100 receivers in the league. There's probably 150 on this thing. I've got 16 written down on my sheet, and I will not play anybody outside these 16 people. I'll play some of these people a lot more than the others. But so you can have Evans and Godwin on your sheet, and you're gonna make multiple lineups.
You can have Evans and Godwin in the same lineup if you want to. I mean, you could win
the double stack doesn't work that often, but it could work.
How
but
many
I don't
lineups do
advise
you
it.
typically make?
So what I do, a lot of people would do the whole 150. I don't really go that route. I think if I got 20 lineups, I can cover basically all my ideas, and they're all working from generally the same framework. I'll have a framework of like 7 to 8 guys. And then I just start switching some of them out for other guys on this.
So it would be a
just go from
situation where you start Jameis and Mike Evans instead of Jameis and Godwin, and then you're adjusting tight ends and trying to find values in tight end
Exactly.
defenses.
If you change that one player, it's going to change everything.
Yeah, of course.
We'll have about 20 lineups, and there'll be 4 players that are in 100% of them a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, and so what determines those 100%? It's like, I'm starting this guy this week. Trending, who they play, matchups.
It's a combination of everything. Really, like the past 2 years, I've been throwing Diggs out week 1, and it's been unbelievable.
Yeah.
This year, my guy might be Dalvin Cook kind of thing. It's
Yeah.
just that one guy I feel like, hey, this guy, unless he gets injured, which is always in play in any kind of fantasy,
Yeah.
this guy's going to have a monster game. I'm making sure I plug him in. The rest of it, don't even care.
One thing I will throw in also, though, let's say you really like Winston. Let's say you also really like Cam Newton week 1. The one thing that might deter you or sway you a little bit is Winston is what they call chalk. And chalk means there's going to be a huge percentage of people playing him. So if you want to kind of get off like the main percentage, like the guy that most people are going to play, you might Cam Newton outscores Winston. You're above like 50% of the people.
So a tiebreaker here is definitely
ownership projection.
Yeah. So
if you hold them in the same regard, because here's one thing you can do: if you're working with your kind of like 20 lineups or whatever on a smaller kind of field, if say Jameis Winston's chalk, he might come at like 30% on. Well, that doesn't mean I can't go overweight and be at 70%. If he's a good play and people want him, why can't I just have more of them?
Yeah.
And then get my edge that way.
Okay.
I don't have to force in Cam against Aaron Donald in that pass rush just because he's going to be 2% on. I mean, every once in a while a play like that makes sense, but chalk is chalk for a reason.
Yeah. So, there's a reason people pick guys in good matchups because typically they produce for them. So our lineup, and just to retouch on this, so on DraftKings, your lineup is 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, tight end, flex, defense, no kicker. So we're gonna look at where do I go from here? Okay, I like a duo. I like this tandem week 1. Godwin, Jameis Winston, $37,200 left. Where am I going?
So
Running back?
I think next you got to look at you got to find out the guy you got to have. And for me in week 1, I'll go ahead and throw Dalvin Cook in there to pair with my stack.
So Dalvin Cook looks like we got to scroll down a little bit here.
Yeah, I think
so Dalvin Cook was halfway down the first page at $6,000. So he's actually cheaper than Godwin. Underneath names like Elliott, Barkley, McCaffrey, Gurley, DJ, Gordon, and Le'Veon, Mixon, Chubb, and Damian Williams, and Fournette. So he was underneath all those names. So I think that's fantastic value.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So you're looking at a guy that you like for his matchup. You like this guy week 1, and you love the value. If Dalvin Cook were the most expensive guy on here, does that change your opinion?
Slightly, but still, it's a smash.
So you like?
I probably wouldn't in a vacuum. Like if Barkley and McCaffrey were priced at the same range, I'm probably going with them just because it seems like the volume's more there.
Sure.
And Cook's a little bit more unproven, but for a $3,000 discount, I'll slam him in there.
So again, that's back to upside. You're thinking I can get a guy that could boom for me for $3,000, and you'll have somewhere you can have $3,000 to play with.
Not saying you can't pay the expensive guys. I mean, if you think Barkley's going to have a great week 1, get him in there, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, that 30 points is 30 points. It doesn't really matter what you paid for it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So where am I going next? Am I picking a wide receiver I like, a tight end I like?
I would stay. Well, go ahead.
Yeah, I'd like to stay at running back and pick out. I don't want to steal the show, but I have a couple more running backs that I think are in really good spots for week 1. They're down around the same 6,000 price. I think they're. I could see myself playing Carry-On at 5,800 against that awful Arizona defense, or right under him, Chris Carson in a. I like the game script against Cincinnati. I feel like they could just kind of use Chris Carson.
Cincinnati's defense is wretched too.
Yeah.
So is Arizona though.
So
I mean, and that is, you don't have to be an expert to. Or we're not experts, but you don't have to really know DraftKings to really piece that together. Will and Jared, what matchups do y'all like better out of that Carry-On and Carson? So they're at the same price range.
If I'm picking one, I'm just going to say Carson. I'm going to say I like the game script. I like them playing at home. I think Seattle's defense will play better at home. I think they're going to have chances to turn Cincinnati over. They don't have A.J. Green. And then my only fear is that with the Carry-On game is that they are playing in Arizona. I don't really care for it to become a shootout. I don't know how Kyler's going to play. There's a lot of question marks. I know what Cincinnati is going to roll out there. They're going to roll out Andy Dalton, and they're going to roll out Joe Mixon, and they're going to roll out Tyler Boyd, and they're going to score 16 points that week, and I think that they're going to ground and pound and turn the hand to Carson a whole lot.
Also, Carry-On Johnson week 1, there's been a lot of questions about how he's going to be used in the offense in general. So
Absolutely.
rolling him out there week 1 without knowing how they're going to use him is pretty risky.
It's looking a lot better for Carson's workload than Carry-On's. But I will say, if you are a Carry-On believer, like you can't hate that matchup.
If you're a Carry-On believer, this is what Dylan was talking about as far as he's not going to be chalk.
Yeah.
He shouldn't be too chalky.
Yeah, true.
You can get him and get a pretty good deal on him, and especially if he goes off, you'll be looking pretty good in these
yeah,
tournaments.
that offense is slow, but they could be getting
But
that.
Arizona is fast.
Yeah, as soon as they get
and
rid of the ball,
bad.
they could get it back in the next minute kind of thing.
Yeah. So now we're working with. So we've got our quarterback paired with a wide receiver we like with good value in Godwin, Dalvin Cook, Chris Carson. Good matchups, good value. Man, I would imagine there's going to be a whole lot of Dalvin Cook, Chris Carson lineups played out there. So give me something here in these next couple picks. That's a great value. Something that's going to be boom or bust. Something that's going to win me that week. Because I think a lot of people are going to roll out a Dalvin Cook, Chris Carson. There's a lot of guys that are going to sit around a table like this and say, I got to play those guys in those matchups.
So this is what kind of like your decisions earlier beget your decisions later.
Yeah.
So like if I was going Carry-On there, I'm just hitting the lock button on Tyler Lockett for one of my receiver spots. Well, I'm not playing Carson and Lockett, so all of a sudden I still want to take advantage of that Arizona defense, especially with no Patrick Peterson. So I'm taking that Babytron guy. He's not my favorite player in the league, but when opportunity knocks,
Okay, so
I'm going to answer.
So you're taking Kenny Golladay. So he's definitely jumping in. So Michael, in short, was saying that he definitely wants to take advantage of Arizona's defense or lack thereof.
Absolutely.
Whatever. So he loves that Detroit matchup. Loves a chance to get Kenny Golladay at a good value at 6,300. He is the second highest player on our as far as salary is concerned. Jameis Winston, our quarterbacks, the most. So that's interesting. So we're getting guys like Dalvin Cook, Chris Carson, and Godwin at pretty good value here. So tell me something. So let's move. What are you thinking here with the last? Do you go flex? Are you looking at another running back? Or do you what?
I'm grabbing my third wide receiver here. I'm looking for huge upside here. I'm seeing my lineup right now. I don't have a piece of the Kansas City offense. We didn't go with Mahomes. I probably can't afford Hill at this point.
I know exactly where you're going. I'm gonna cut you short here. So I'm thinking. So with offenses like that, and with the Rams and with the Chiefs, do you have to every week? Are you buying until they show you until it's proven otherwise? Are you buying Rams and Chiefs and
Absolutely.
Houston?
Yeah,
I mean, are you
for
buying
sure.
these offenses?
Like this week 1, you got Chiefs going against Jaguars. Jalen Ramsey, whatever you think of him,
He's shadowing Tyreek Hill.
He's shadowing Tyreek Hill, like you said. But you're going to want to have at least 10% of your lineups have a Tyreek Mahomes stack probably every week. And in the weeks where they're low owned, all of a sudden, you got a really good shot with those
and
couple
then all of a
lineups.
sudden, even if it doesn't matter, Jalen Samuels.
And then, of course, the weeks they got a great matchup, load up heavy. I
Yeah.
mean, like, it'll be chalk, but guess what? Chalk will be like at most 60% is what somebody will get played at most.
And that's
you
gotta
can
be
be
a crazy
100%.
chalk.
You can go 100% on Mahomes if you like him. It doesn't matter. And if you're right, it'll pay off
Yeah,
just
it'll-
like if it was a contrarian play.
Gotcha.
I don't know if we're gonna go with this pick, but I was getting towards playing Sammy Watkins with that Jalen Ramsey on Tyreek Hill, kind of hoping for those couple deep balls, hoping for that volume. It could happen. He's healthy right now, kind of thing. But does anybody have any other week 1 wide receiver plays that they are optimistic about? Maybe.
You would go Sammy over D.D. Westbrook? You would
See, that
rather be
was
going behind?
my other side of the coin. You play D.D. Westbrook volume hog against Kansas City, trying to keep up. I kind of like that too.
Yeah, so game script wise, so now you're looking at game script. So a couple of things just to recap and check the box on. So you're looking at matchups, looking at guys that are trending in the right direction, workload. Like we think, as far as the matchup's concerned, we think Arizona's not gonna go out there and shut down Detroit. So we definitely want a piece of that. We definitely want our quarterback and a wide receiver pair. We definitely want good matchups. Chris Carson, and then now we're looking at game script with Chris Carson and then D.D. Westbrook.
Yeah,
so we think that,
another game script example for this week 1. Do you think Leonard Fournette has the opportunity to produce against Kansas City week 1?
Are
Are you paying that amount for him?
he
Probably not where he's at. I mean,
Where's he
David
at right
Johnson
now?
did it against
6,100?
KC last year in a similar kind of setup where you knew the Cardinals were going to get railroaded. And Fournette's supposed to be involved more in the passing game this year, but KC's improved that defense quite a bit, especially that defensive line.
Yeah.
That would have me hesitant. And I like that he's got that 31st in green right beside him because I think a lot of people will be kind of attracted to that.
yeah.
I don't know if I am, and I like Fournette.
Yeah,
But
well, so
maybe not for week
and they
one.
are at home. I mean, if they were in Arrowhead Stadium, you could probably roll out the entire Chiefs offense because that place is going to be absolutely rocking week 1 if they were there, but they're not. They are in Jacksonville, so that would, I guess, shade me a little bit. Maybe if Fournette's going to produce in that game, it's going to have to be game script. They're going to have to come out and just ground and pound and keep the ball out of Mahomes' hand. He better score in the first half. He's got to put up his numbers in the first half because as soon as the Chiefs get down, as soon as the Jaguars get down, I think they're going to be throwing the ball a whole lot.
Absolutely.
So you're looking at game script. I'm cool with going D.D. Westbrook. I think D.D.'s going to have a great year, and I think it's going to start with, as far as volume's concerned, I think it's going to start week 1. So where are we going here? Now we have our tight end flex defense. We have $14,400.
So what I like to do here, I'll go ahead and plug in a defense. It may not even be the one I'm playing, but I'll throw like a $3,000 defense just so I can see this average salary go up and kind of know what I'm dealing with. I don't want to sit there and think I've got $4,800 left per player, knowing I'm not going to spend that on a defense. Like,
Gotcha.
Let me get a clearer head here.
Okay. So that's a great point. That's a pretty savvy move. So he's going to throw in just a defense to kind of have an idea and get a little better idea. So I'm going to throw it to Jared. What kind of matchups do you like week 1? Let's go ahead and go back to the running backs and wide receivers. Let's look, or flex. I guess we can look at our flex. So what are some matchups you like here? Do you really just take bottom of the barrel tight end and hope a guy has a great week? Is that what you're thinking here? And then your flex guy be another guy that can boom for you? Is that what you do, Michael? Before I jump,
You
to
can
Jared?
go either way. Tight end, all I'm looking for is a consistent role. I mean, I'd like to play Kittle if the lineup presents itself, and I may have some Kittle, But as far as like going down the list, Evan Ingram, his target's going to be there. I'm interested in that more so than I would be O.J. Howard, even if O.J. Howard might be the better talent. And then you got Delaney Walker down here. He's going to have an every down role in the offense probably. I've got no problem rolling him out at 3,500.
What about Hooper? What do you think Atlanta's game scheme is going to be like? I mean, is he going to get volume in that offense? The offense is going to have to score. I mean, they are playing Minnesota. I could imagine that being a decently high scoring game.
Absolutely.
If we are starting, so
yeah, any of these notable tight end ones on their roster down here in this around getting closer to 3,000 range.
So
if you think they're in a high scoring game, you can't go wrong. I mean, tight ends they live off of getting the touchdowns. I mean, and you can't predict that. So I mean,
I still like to chase the targets though. I'm not trying to hold my breath and hope he gets a touchdown. If not, he gets a 2-point game or something.
Yeah.
Like, give me the Delaney Walker 3 catches for 50 yards or whatever. I'll take an 8, and if he gets in the end zone 14, is ecstatic for 3,500. I don't really care, but I want a guy that's going to at least put up something at tight end. I'm trying to get a little something everywhere.
Gotcha. So what are you thinking here on tight end? And then we can let Jared kind of round it out with a good.
I would go ahead and
are you going to go ahead and jump on your flex
up for quarterback? Go ahead and plug Delaney Walker in there, unless you got.
Yeah, I like that.
I mean, Andrews is probably a better tight end at his age now.
Chance to, I mean, Delaney's going to have a chance to score. I don't think.
Yeah,
and one thing you can do, not to cut you off, Dill, sorry about that, but a lot of times in the regular season, early weeks, your older players are more viable than they will be later on.
That's what I was going to say.
You can play him week 1, week 7, he's going to be gassed. Dude.
Yeah,
you probably want to start going with the younger guys that are starting to develop. So I'd rather see Mark Andrews kind of prove it to me again and see what his role in the offense is going to be, see if they'll actually throw the ball a little bit.
Yeah.
I'll take Delaney in a game they're going to be behind, and Marcus Mariota loves the guy.
Delaney Walker has that tenure. He's fine right now. He's not gassed from the season. I think he's a great play at that price.
Okay, so now we are in a position. We have $7,900 left, and there are some some sweet names. We can bump our defense down. I think that was a good point by Michael to go ahead and jump in there and throw a defense in, so we can kind of know what we're working with. So a lot of really good names here. What are some names, or what are some matchups that you like, Jared?
We talked about not having any KC players, and obviously up top there is Tyreek Hill. I know we talked about Jalen Ramsey being on him, but Tyreek Hill he's not a guy that's been seen to be shut down easily. But one guy I'm actually looking at is Le'Veon Bell. I think it's interesting. I don't know if it's a safe play or not, but the guy hadn't played in a full year, but he's going up against a Buffalo defense that I don't think is very good. I think that the Jets are going to have a pretty good offense this year, and I'm not sure how many people are going to be looking to play Le'Veon in week 1 on DFS. So
yeah.
I'm not an expert on DFS, so I'll definitely let these guys talk more about it, but that's just one that I'm looking at, and I'm saying that'd be an interesting play.
It is one of those sneaky plays where if you don't like Le'Veon Bell, and a lot of people are sour on him from this offseason and whatnot, you're not going to he's one of those top price guys. You take one of those top price guys that not a lot of people are liking right now, and all of a sudden you have a Le'Veon Bell that you're like 10% owned with a great player.
Yeah.
So it could pay off huge.
Yeah, I mean, a 3-touchdown game is in his range of outcomes for sure. A lot of the camp talk has been Ty Montgomery's going to get a lot of run early on until Bell gets his feet wet, and you hadn't seen the guy play in over a year. But that's more about makes him a great contrarian play. I wouldn't go out and say 100% of my lineups I'm plugging in Le'Veon Bell, but I would definitely say, hey, 5%, 3%. I want to have a Le'Veon Bell just in case if I've got that feeling he's going for 3 touchdowns.
If you've got a feeling that game script's going to fit him. I think you're right. There's a lot of great points there. Personally, I like the Tyreek Hill play. That's me. If I've got, it looks like, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, it looks like we got a ton of volume guys. I think Dalvin Cook's going to touch the ball a lot. I think Chris Carson's going to touch the ball a lot. I think Godwin's going to touch the ball a lot. I think Galladay's going to touch the ball a lot. And I certainly think D.D. Westbrook's going to touch the ball a lot. We've already touched on these guys, so we have a lot of volume. So I want somebody that has a chance to score me 2 or 3 touchdowns. Now, whether you think that's Le'Veon Bell in a good matchup for him, whether you think I personally think it's Tyreek Hill. I think at any point he could take a punt all the way back. He doesn't even have to have Jalen Ramsey on the field. He can just take a punt back. So I would personally go Tyreek Hill, and then we'd have $300 to play with, and we could bump our defense up. Right now we have the Chargers, Indianapolis at the Chargers, which is probably a great matchup for the Chargers.
Yeah, there's a lot of great value this first week. it's not often you can build your lineup this far with picking guys you like, picking guys you love in week 1, and then still be sitting here with, should I pick Tyreek Hill in my flex at the end? I mean, you have the opportunity to have like a whole lineup full of guys you like, guys you believe in week 1, and then you can throw in Tyreek Hill. I mean, I love it. It's awesome.
So
I'm going to also free up some money by going with the Kyler Murray train over Jameis Winston, and he's one of the few quarterbacks I would feel comfortable running out without a connection, just because I don't think – I'm not going to plug Fitzgerald in there. I'm not going to plug Christian Kirk with the way his usage has been. But Kyler Murray, I will probably take it at the bank and get 15 and 19 fantasy points.
How about
for 1,000
something like a Lamar Jackson early in the season?
Yeah.
He's going to be ready to rock, feet not banged up at all. He's going to be ready to go. I think he's going to have. He could have his ceiling maybe 3 rushing touchdowns this week.
I think one of the points Michael was getting at with that is with those running quarterbacks, you don't always have to stack them, because you could get inside the 10-yard line and be watching Kyler Murray and be like, yes, I have Fitzgerald and Kyler Murray. This is going to be awesome. And then he takes off and runs it in for 6 points. And it's like, well, I could have just had
If I'm sitting with this
Murray.
kind of salary right here, and I was dead set on keeping Winston in, like I said, hey, he's going to have a 30-point monster game. He's throwing 4 touchdowns. I'm finding the extra $100 or $200, and I'm plugging in either Julio against the guy that used to be Xavier Rhodes or Odell Beckham, and I'm getting that Baker Mayfield, we're just out rolling. You want to talk about 2 touchdown guys. There's your guys right there with a guarantee for like 7 or 8 catches.
Yeah. Those are really good. So let's go ahead and recap our lineup really quick. Jameis at quarterback, Dalvin Cook, Chris Carson, Godwin, Galladay, D.D. Westbrook, Delaney Walker, and the Chargers defense, $7,900. So let's make a final decision here. Where are we going to go with this lineup? We've got it locked in here. How are we going to round it out? Dylan, make the call.
My question is, what are we planning on doing with the excess money if we do go down to like a Tyreek or a Le'Veon?
That's a good question. Are you willing to look at Galladay? I don't love Galladay. That's just me. So do you upgrade? Do you like D.D. Westbrook's volume? Do you like Galladay in a great matchup? Do you change those guys? Do you move tight ends? Do you like Delaney Walker this week?
Well, one of the things you can do if you have those thoughts, you can swing Galladay on out of here. Go ahead and throw in your Odell and see what you'd be left with. 6,100 at flex. You get down here and you pick another guy around that range.
Yeah. So
Then you get
I'm gonna say this. What do you guys think about week 1 DFS? I feel like there's a lot of the Will Essex of the world out there.
A lot of money to be made.
There's a lot of people that are new to it. I'm gonna throw $20 on this website, and I'm gonna try to. So, are you taking this? Are you taking safe plays? Like what is your main thing that I've got to make sure I have, that I'm checking this box for me to make sure I win money this week? How are you going to make sure, Michael, you win money starting next Thursday, and how you make sure you're gonna win money that week?
I wouldn't be afraid at all to eat the chalk week 1, because like you said, there's gonna be a lot of people that get on here and be like, oh, I like Cam Newton, oh, I want to play Devonta Freeman, I want to do this, and this, and they're just gonna plug stuff in, not knowing how it correlates, not even caring how it correlates, saying it's $20, I don't really care, I might make $1 million, maybe I won't, whatever kind of thing.
Exactly. I've been there.
Yeah.
I've been
that's
that
me.
guy.
I did that last year. $20
I'm going
gone.
to the Panther game this week. I want Cam, McCaffrey, and DJ Moore in my lineup.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
I'll give you another sense of advice here. If you say you put in $100, you're like, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to put in $100. I want to see how it turns out for me. You're going to be attracted to those like, oh, $20 wins $1 million, or this wins 10,000 or whatever. Don't even look at that, dude. Go down. You need to be at the $3, the $1, the $2, and max those suckers out. Get yourself some different plays. It's like if you're buying lottery tickets, you don't want to just have one set of numbers. You want to have multiple of them.
Yeah.
And those leagues, they may not win $1 million, but you might win, $500, something like that. Start to get you rolling, whatever. You have a better chance of winning the tournament.
So certainly. So if I decide to put $20 on, and I say I want to play in, you think it's better to play in $2 and try to get my bankroll up and try to get my feet a little bit wet here.
Yeah.
Those bigger the reason they're giving out so much money in those big contests is because there's an insane amount of people in it. I've been in I've made $500 on a contest before and looked and said, "Whoa, dang! If I would have played that in the Millie Maker, what would I have made?" And it's like, "Oh, you would have made $60." Yeah, it's like, oh,
yeah. So lots to do here. I hope you guys have anything to wrap up DFS. We went through a lineup here. Hopefully some things that Michael said would kind of resonate, would kind of help you guys, because it certainly helped me. I'm looking at matchups. I'm looking at probability of guys booming. I'm pairing quarterbacks. I'm pairing quarterbacks with wide receivers. Excuse me. I'm liking running backs that are going to touch the ball a lot, catch the ball a lot, because it is PPR scoring.
Yeah,
so that is good. That is
really
good.
The thing that Michael said at the start that I'd like to reiterate, that that's what I've learned more as I've had more experience in DraftKings and FanDuel. The guys you know or the guys you think are going to ball, you want to have them in almost all your lineups. You don't want to know Odell Beckham's going to ball out against Tennessee. Watch him ball out against Tennessee on the TV on Sunday and say, "Oh, how many lineups do I have him in? Oh, I had him in half of my lineups." It's like,
go all in. There's going to be another week, and if you
Yeah.
lose money, you lose money. Don't play any. Obviously, Gamblers Anonymous. Don't play anything you can't afford to lose. This is an
Certainly.
entertainment fee, but you're trying to win some money.
I've got a question. You guys talked about how are you gonna, zero out your money here. Is that always necessary, or
You
you
definitely don't
sometimes
have to.
leaving $200, $300?
Yeah,
on
if
the
you're
board?
leaving $200, $300, that's awesome. That really makes your lineup unique. And if it's the guys you want, go for it. But if you see that you're leaving $1,000,
Certainly.
unless it's like a Thursday night, Monday, Thursday slate, like a really short slate, you're doing something wrong because these guys are priced pretty sharp. It's
Yeah.
almost like betting the Vegas lines. Like they've got a pretty good idea what these guys can produce. You don't want to be sitting there saying, "I used 48,000 to 50,000." It's
Yeah.
not NASCAR, guys. You don't.
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna wreck out.
You can't put that money aside for next week.
Exactly.
You're not gaining any interest on that
so
money.
you got
But
to,
Spend it up.
I've got two things. One, you don't have to get as weird as people think you do. I've heard people say, "Oh, I'm going to play this guy. Nobody's going to have him. I'm going to do this." And you don't even think he's really going to do that good. You're just thinking, what if he does score? I've been there, dude, especially in the early on when like playing Curtis Samuel even last year gave into like, what if he did catch that 80-yard touchdown? It's like, dude, there's like a 3% chance that's
Yeah.
going to happen. Yeah, it'd be awesome, but don't waste your money on that. Let's go sure targets.
Yeah, so you're okay with the chalk. If I know
eat the chalk
a
all day,
guy,
bro.
yeah, if you
But
know
I'll eat it more than everybody else.
really.
I'll eat it more. I'll like say Chris Godwin's the chalk, which he probably is, and they've got him at like he comes in 30%, 40% on. I'm gonna have him at 90%, 80%, just like Diggs the past 2 years. I was all over Stephon Diggs, and if it works, it works. Some weeks it doesn't. When it does work, here's the really cool thing about DFS. Not like it's an investment tool, but here's the cool thing. If I risk $20, I can lose $20, but I can win 5 times that amount, 10 times that amount, 30 times that amount. So if I lose a week, I get 17 of them. Let me go with the guys that I want and go down with my guys.
Yeah.
As long as it makes some sense. You just can't get too crazy. But you
Yeah.
gotta eat some chalk and then go with your guys who you like.
We dabbled in the preseason DFS so far this year, and just like Michael was saying, one week, what were we playing a night?
Jalen Hurd.
We were playing like $90 a night tops, maybe $60 a night. One week we hit 1,300, and we haven't won anything other than that one week. But we still
don't
balled
care.
out in preseason. We went like
We'll
positive
play again tomorrow.
$1,000.
We don't care.
What's the most money you guys have spent in 1 week on lineups?
It'll actually, well, wow. That's
not-
tough because
I don't like to talk about it.
how much did we play last year in that league? It was 1,500 was that one league. That's what the cost of it was.
One week, it was a week
It's not
right
the
after
Thunderdome,
I
it's like the one
it was
under
a
it.
week right after we won 5,000.
Off that Tevin Coleman zone.
Yeah,
Man.
and then the next week we played it all, didn't we?
Absolutely.
We played about 5,000 one
Holy.
week, and I don't think we won anything back.
I'm trying to think if I've ever
Ooh.
played more than that.
Yeah, but
And that was one of those things where we got a little too weird. We were in a league with a bunch of, your top guys.
Yeah.
And we're sitting there. We knew Zach Ertz, Dallas Goedert both had excellent matchups against that Cowboys secondary or whatever secondary it was. And we're sitting there. Everybody's going to be on Ertz. What if we go Goedert so we can bump up to Christian McCaffrey? Because Goedert was like 2,900 and Ertz
Yeah.
was like 65. And so we're debating back and forth, literally sitting there in our seats at the Panther game, debating back and forth. We finally go Goedert. If we'd have gone Ertz, whole different story. We may not even be here right now. We may be on a yacht. I don't know what we'd be doing.
That's funny. All right. Well, so I hope that if you listen to this, I hope that you got a little bit of guidance when it comes to this stuff. Obviously, like Michael said, don't gamble your life savings away.
No, but go with your guys.
Yeah,
if
definitely.
if you have a good
Yeah,
feeling, man, you can always get a second mortgage.
I will reiterate that 5,000 was house money. It was house money.
Yeah.
We're not
Yeah,
throwing 5,000 into it week one.
you don't need a house anyway.
Over-
Spend that house money.
Rated.
Absolutely, bruh.
I love it. All right, so I hope that you guys got a little something from this. Thanks for Jared coming to join us. As always, me, Michael Dillon. We'll catch you next time. Peace.
Beyond the fantasy.
Thanks for listening.
Peace. Hey guys, hope you enjoyed the episode. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at BeyondFFP and check us out on YouTube at Beyond the Fantasy Football Podcast. We'll catch you next time.